What's up, everybody? Funnel Doc here. Today, we're going to be going over one of the most easiest and profitable coaching models out there. This is one you don't want to miss. See you inside. What's up, everybody? Funnel Doc here. So today we're going to be going over the group coaching model. Now, one of the great things about the group coaching model is it's super easy to scale because you're able to accommodate and bring in people on a large scale, easily having 20, 30, 40, maybe even 50 students at a time, depending on how you're spreading it out and how many support coaches you have with you. With this, I would like to say, I would not recommend starting out with a group coaching model. The reason why is this, and I found this out the hard way. When I first started my coaching program, I started out with a group coaching model because my mind, I'm like, this is going to allow me to be able to help the most people, touch the most lives, get the most information out there, et cetera, et cetera. The problem with most group coaching models is there's no path or direction. It's just like, hey, let's show up. We're going to have a Q&A session. Let me know what you need help with, and I'll help you with it. And in theory, in our mind, that makes sense. But one of the number one problems that I found starting with that model is most of your students don't know what questions to ask. So it's your job as the mentor, as the expert in this field that's going to help them to be able to lay out a path. And that's why so many people start out as a consultant, then become a coach, because they keep seeing, as a consultant, I keep seeing the same thing over and over and over, the same problem. So they're like, hey, guess what? Maybe I should make a program out of this, or coaching program. And I recommend start out first in a one-on-one model. The reason why is this: you're going to be able to optimize your program better. You're going to be able to engage and interact with your students or mentees, or whatever you want to call them, your students, clients, whatever. One-on-one, you're going to be able to fine tune and optimize this program by the input and the exchange you're going to get. Oh, this didn't work. Let me do this. That works better. Let's do this. And by the time you've done 10 to 20 is a good number. Once you've gotten 10 to 20 people through your one-on-one, maybe 30, it depends. Again, it could be, you could fine tune it quick. You could take a little longer. Everyone's different. But once you've got roughly that 10 to 30 people, and I know that's a large number, but it just depends. When you feel it's fine tuned, you want to start taking yourself out of there. This is before you've done that. By setting this, it's going to allow you to dial in your price. It's going to allow you to get results for your clients because you're engaged in your one-on-one with them. You're putting in your one-on-one effort. You're going to be able to get testimonials from it this way. You're basically going to be able to build everything you need while making good money. One-on-one, you charge more because they're paying for not only your course, your coaching, but your time now. That's the thing in one-on-one, and that's why one-on-one's hard to scale. And that's why once you start getting to a point you need to scale, you take yourself out of the one-on-one, and then you start building your group coaching model. But realistically, that's probably shouldn't be until you've done, like I said, anywhere from 10 to 30 sales, which could be around 100K in sales for your coaching offer, of course, depending on how well it's priced for your one-on-one. So once you've proven all that out, you've got some money in your pocket so that you can get coaches, you can run ads, you can do things you want. You've proven your offer out. You've proven out their pain points. You know your dream customer in and out. And that's what starting with a one-on-one core offer for high ticket coaching solves. And that's why I recommend starting this way. And that's why I teach in my primary funnel accelerator coaching program. But once you've got that down, you've hit that 100K, it gets hard to scale that. You don't want to have 20 one-on-ones on your calendar. So we then move to the group coaching model, and that's what I want to talk to you about today. So the group coaching model, first of all, when you first start your group coaching model, you want to think of who is your dream customer. And I know the easy cop out is, oh, it's the same one as my one-on-one. That's true and not true. Realize the people that are going to be successful in a group coaching model have to be self-starters. Now, you can provide support, you can provide accountability, and you should, but it's still a different person versus that person that has the one-on-one experience. It's a totally different coaching, and you have to get that in your mindset as you're designing your coaching program. You also want to think about, and this part could be similar, but not the same, because again, people in the group coaching program are probably going to be and more of a generalized problem or area. So, but you want to think about where are they now and where do you want to be? Again, I would recommend, and we'll get into it a little bit later, but time, it needs to be a time specific program, even though it's group coaching. The problem is with open limits, and I've experienced myself, and I'm sure you found this to yourself, whatever time you give someone to do something in, they're going to condense it down. If you give them 30 days, they'll make it happen in 30 days. If you give them 90, they'll do that. If you go to unlimited, a lot of them will never take action because it's almost like a lot of times people know that we have our gym membership. Like, we're not even going to the gym, but I've got a gym membership just in case I ever want to work out. And that's what a lot of people use, like education and courses, and again, that learning loop, and use that as an excuse. Don't allow them to do that. You have to change your program because you're not in this anymore. And that's one of the major differences. So when designing it, where are they now? Who is your customer? You want to start thinking of some things like their vital statistics, like what is their average age? Realize someone that's in their mid 20s compared to someone in their mid 40s are going to be looking at it differently. And this is going to be what you need to be thinking of when you're designing not only your program, but your marketing message around it. Because just having an amazing program and putting it out there, hey, that Field of Dream things, build it and it'll come, is bullcrap, man. It doesn't work online. You've got to make some noise. You've got to get some hype behind it. So just building a great program is not going to make it sell. So you've got to be able to get results. You got to be able to know your people. You got to know their problems. You know what keeps them up at night. Think about when you're also thinking about your dream customer, think about their education level. And we're not just talking about regular school, but their education level in regards to your problem or niche that you're solving. Think about it this way. What is someone's education level that only knows websites? How hard is it going to be to sell the whole funnel concept when they don't even know what a funnel is? So first I got to convince you a funnel is it, and that's the way to go. And then I got to convince you need one. You see, with a longer bridge there, depending on what their education level in the specific niche that you're coaching is. So you want to think about their education. You want to think about their age. You want to think about their income, because realize too, how much money are they making right now? Because not only does it help to know what they can afford for your program, but how much do they have as far as resources at their means. Realize someone that's making $100,000 a month, it's a lot easier for them to get someone to do video, to do funnels, to do copy, to do different things that you might not be a expert in. You know what I mean? That, like, for instance, if I'm working with someone, a lot of times I'm guiding them through my coaching program, but I'm not building their funnels for them. So we need someone that's reasonably able to do that. And if you are making good money, you can afford someone versus someone that's just starting out and they're scraping pennies together to get in the program. So you might not want to target those people. You might want your program to be targeting people that have a higher income because they have more resources. These are all things you want to think about just when designing who is your dream customer. And you want to think about, like I said already, their customer journey, where they are now, what pain are they in, where they want to be, and design your program within a certain time frame from here to there. And hopefully that makes sense. So the next thing you're going to want to think about is the length of the program. And this ties into everything we've been talking about. So if you start at what their end result is and you reverse engineer it back, how long does each step take? So if we're starting out now, and for instance, my first week, it's foundation. The way I've got everything set up for my program, it's each month is its own specific cycle or sales cycle. First week is basically promotion or creation. Second and third week are basically promotion, and fourth week are sales. So every month you're getting sales in my program, not like a lot of them where they're waiting till the end and you learned it all and then they hope you get results. So, but you want to think about how is that broken up? How is it structured so that you're able to make sure that they're getting wins along the way? Because that's the other thing. You've got to be able, especially with something that's grouped, that you're not getting that one-on-one, you've got to have stop gaps in place that's going to help these people to be able to accelerate and advance without you holding their hand all the way along. So think about this when you're laying out, when you're setting up your modules, when you're deciding how the timeframes you're going to go. How is your group coaching going to go itself? This is something, and again, I get all this into this. Actually, group coaching is in my higher program where we take you from 100K to $1 million, my 7-figure elite. And we get into all the specifics here. But these are things you want to think about too, is like in this time frame, where do you want each unit to go, and how is it going to help to propel that person forward so they're constantly getting success? Are you going to have experts that are going to occasionally come in? You want to think about too, what deliverables, and this is what I'm getting at now, what support and deliverables, because these are the things, I don't know why you've done, support and deliverables are the two things that's replacing you as one-on-one. So you've got to have basically some type of a course, whether it's a videos or a workbook or something like that that they can use, that they can follow along. You're going to need some type of roadmap, I highly recommend, that's going to show them, hey, week 1, we're doing this. Week 2, we're doing this. Week 3, we're doing this. Because here's the deal. When you're not there as a one-on-one instructor, you have to give them the vision. You have to give them, because it's in our head. As a mentor, we're thinking of it. It makes sense to us. We see the path. We see the path. But they don't see the path. And especially in group. I've had this problem before in my one-on-one when I first was starting out, that I wasn't laying it out. And now you've got to lay out the path. You've got to make sure we're speaking the same language here. In group, it's even more important, because you've got people that sometimes don't know what questions to ask, as I went to before, when you just laid it out. And that's why you want, when you have your group coaching, to have specific structure in the way that you're doing each group course. It's not just a Q&A where everybody, all right, I'm gonna take my order now, my number down, I'm gonna stand in line, and I'm gonna sit here and go through 15 or 20 people that I don't care anything about their problems or what they've got going on. There's certain ways you can structure your program so that people don't feel that way, that they feel included no matter how many people you have. And these are things you want to think about. You want to think about templates and scripts and things that provide almost cut and paste solutions or turnkey solutions, because you want people to be able to get in there and have quick wins and quick success. Because again, you can't check in on them and you're scaling this out. Imagine you got 30 people at one time going through this. You can't, even with the best tracking and stuff. I mean, you can, but you have to charge more. That's the problem. When you start doing stuff like that, the higher level where it's getting that, it becomes almost one-on-one again. You have to charge more. And it makes it hard to scale. So you've got to put the support in place. You've got to put the course, the roadmap, the templates, the scripts, having expert speakers occasionally coming in and providing support on areas that you might not be an expert at, but are needed for your program to succeed. Maybe you're having a mindset person come in. Like, I'm good at mindset, but I had John come in and he taught a program on mindset for my people. These are the different things you want to think about when you're outlining your program. And one of the next things you want to think about is, as crazy as it sounds, is the actual pricing of it. Is how is it priced? A lot of people come to me and they're like, what should I charge? Well, let's think about it. How big of a problem are you solving, and what type of return on investment are they getting? If someone comes to me, and like my last 3 students, or last 10 students, all hit 10K in 30 days, and my last 3 have all hit 100K within 80 to 100 days or so. If you can consistently have results like that, how much do you think you could charge if you could consistently make someone 10K in 30 days or 100K in 100 days? If you could consistently do that for people, what would be unreasonable? If I could line up right now, we started working together, and at the end of 100 days, you made $100,000. If I charge you even 50, would that be crazy because you just made double your investment? It's not 50, I'll tell you right now, it's not, but it could easily be, right? And these are one of the things you want to think about, is how much return on investment they're getting. And this is very important. How big is the problem you're solving? For instance, I love to use the example. I think I got this out of, it might have been Gap Selling. I can't remember the book, man. I wish I'd remember. I gotta give the researches so I can remember, give credit where it's due. But in this book, they're talking about problems and how big a problem is. And the problem can be the difference between, I have a headache and you can give me a Tylenol, and for something like that, where if I need to, I could probably ignore it and eventually go away. So what's that worth? $5 maybe, $10? How much of a hindrance, how much of a pain is this? But let's escalate it. Now this pain isn't just a little headache, it's cancer, and it's killing you. How much would you pay, or how much is it worth? And I know this is extreme. Please don't ever consider coaching something like this, but I'm just using this example to really show you the difference between a headache and cancer. Like if you could cure it, let's just say you could cure it, how much would people pay to have that cure? You're talking about saving people's lives. And again, this is an extreme example, but hopefully it helps to illustrate what I'm talking about. Like how much of a pain are you solving? How much ROI are you providing? How much are you changing their life? How much of a service are you providing? You know, like I talked to this one gentleman, his name was, I believe it was James or John Smith at this Perry Belcher event. His name was really generic, but the guy wasn't. He was a great dude. And we're talking, and I'm like, yeah, I do high ticket coaching, you know. And he's like, oh, really? What's your price? I'm like, I teach people anywhere, you know, from $5,000 to $100,000 offers roughly. And he's a really nice guy. He's like, that's amazing. That's amazing. And he's like, and I'm like, what do you do? And he's like, well, I teach 8 and 9 figure entrepreneurs how to have mindset and be able to break through their barriers and stuff. And he's like, I'm like, well, what do you charge? And he's like, well, my programs are a year and they start at $1 million. And I'm looking at it, and if you look at his dream customer, 7 and 8 or 8 and 9 figure, not 7, 8 and 9 figure entrepreneurs, they're in pain if they're upset. And he does life balance stuff with work and everything. But think about that. For them, if they can't get out of bed in the morning because they're so upset and they make hundreds of millions of dollars, would $1 million be unreasonable to pay for something like that? Not if it's stopping you from working, not if it's stopping you from making money, not if it's stopping you from making getting out of bed every day, which we've all probably experienced something like that. So just on that level, when it talks about being a mindset, health, life balance coach, how big of a problem are you solving? Who's your dream client? You know, it's really hard to sell broke people because they don't have money, even though we want to help them all. And that's what the great thing is about being able to do lead magnets, free trainings like this, where I can help people on a massive scale, not charge them, because let's be honest, not everybody can afford it. And that's okay. That's why we get in this, is not just to make money, but to help people. And that's why I make videos like this. So now we've got sort of price locked down. We've got your length. We've talked about sort of how it should be structured and outlined, what support you should be providing, what deliverables. The last thing we want to cover, believe it or not, is the name. Like you have to have a decent name that explains the result, the process, something about your program, the win of it, like how you're going to win, whatever, within a quick shot. Boom. They need to be able to understand what it is you do and what results they're going to get. Something that resonates about everything you do. And it can't be something that you and your group understand. Like, even if it's like, unless you're big, like ClickFunnels, where you've got funnel hackers or something, even that was a long time growing. So I want you to think about, when you talk about a name for your product, it needs to be because it needs to represent who you are. I've had people before try and use like little funny names or stuff that's in it. They're like, no one's going to know what that means. You know, like if, it needs to be something like Funnel Accelerator Coaching, my program. What do you know? It accelerates your funnel growth. And that's what it is. It really, that whole beginning is the initial process, even though we don't get in funnels till later once you've already had a couple sales. But anyway, 7-figure elite. Guess what? This is my elite level program where we're going to take you to 7 figures. Pretty obvious, something else like Dan Henry, get clients. Get clients. What's he do? He's going to help you get clients, like things like that. So you want it to be, and I know it's harder because there's so many names and stuff they're taking out now, but these are some of the things you want to think about. You don't want it to be like, oh, they have to think of 3 levels deep to be able to get what the heck you're talking about. They need to be able to get it quick. They need to be able to get it fast. They need to be able to understand what services you're providing, what win you're getting, how you're going to help them, what pain points you're alleviating. These are things. And again, a lot of people are like, well, what about like Apple or something? These people, their brand didn't happen overnight. And I want you to take the easier road versus the harder road. Like, sure, could you do that? Is it possible? Sure, man, it can happen. But that's like 1 in a billion chance versus like, let's go down the road that proven it works. You know what I mean? So let's go down that road and try and think of that when you're coming up with your name, because this is your branding. Think about when you come to your branding, your fonts, it needs to express who you are. I know it sounds silly, and these are things later on, they're not going to make or break you, but there's something that I like to think about. And once you get them, just put them on a sheet somewhere and brand yourself. What's your font? Use that font for everything, for headlines, subheadlines. What colors are you going to be using? What 3 main colors? Find out their hex code, save it somewhere so you're using it's consistent throughout your funnels. So And these are the things you want to think about. Last thing, not as much. I don't want that to ever to hold you up. But these first things that we talked about, something you definitely need to think about. How you're going to structure it, how long is it going to be, what you're going to be covering, reverse engineer the process, how long it's going to be, supporting deliverables, what's the pricing, what's the name. These are all the important things that you need to think about when coming up and creating your group coaching program. So hopefully you found value in this video. If you did, please subscribe and hit that like button. Be sure to give me a comment below. Let me know what you thought about this video. I appreciated all you that have been commenting on videos recently. I thank you so much. It means a lot to me. Let me know if you found value in this, if you want to learn more about group coaching, what you want me to dive deep into. I'm here for you guys and gals. I'm here to be able to change your lives when it comes to designing your high-ticket coaching ecosystems, whether it's funnels or follow-up or offers or dream customers or how to design it all. I want to give you guys the inside secret sauce of how to be able to be successful and be able to make that, consistent 20, 30, 40 grand a month, breaking through those 10K months, because I know initially starting out, especially for coaches and consultants, when you get it going, that's one of the hardest obstacles to overcome, is that like consistent breaking through those 10Ks where you're hitting the 15s, the 16s, the 20s, the 30s. It seems so hard initially. And that's because you don't have the right systems and the right procedures and ecosystem in place to make it happen. So if you want to know how to make that happen, if you want to know how to break through those 10K months and hit those 20 and 30, go to funneldoc.com/FAC for Funnel Accelerator Coaching. Apply for my coaching program. I'd love to have you in it. My one-on-one's probably not open. I only take 3 students at a time, and then I close it down and then open again later. If it happens to be open, lucky you. If not, just get on the waiting list. But my group coaching is amazing. Everything we've talked about is included in my program and helps teach you everything you need to know from starting to getting through those 10K months and scaling up to the 20 and 30. So that's my Funnel Accelerator Coaching. I'd love to have you into that. I know this program will change the lives of you and everyone else that you work with and know. It's my life work, and I'm so honored and proud to be able to bring it to you. So go out there and make some income and impact, because that's what it's all about. So let's go out there and make some. Funnel Doc out.